Spencer Gallup. How are you doing, sir?
Doing great, doing great. How are you?
Doing all right. We're recording this at an oddball time for us, a late evening recording. Everyone else is asleep, but Ball N Beatz Media is just wide awake tonight. How about that? How
Yep,
about that? And
it's
we're here.
past midnight.
It is past midnight. In fact, the rumor is the cock might be crowing or crowing? Is that the word? I think I messed up that word anyway.
The
But
chicken
the
or the
chicken, the
rooster? The
rooster. Well,
rooster.
cock, chicken, rooster, they're all the same thing, specifically in Columbia, South Carolina. They're basically all the same. Um, but for our friends in Columbia, South Carolina, and the rest of the country, and really the rest of the world, before we get into today's episode, you guys should subscribe to the channel. Hit the follow button on Spotify, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter. Yes, Twitter has returned this week, or anywhere else you may find us. Hit the push notification bell to stay up to date on all of our new videos, new episodes of the Scoop and Score football show every Friday at 6 p.m. Spencer, last week we did our all-time BNB team on the NFL side, but today we're going with college football. And we have had a lot of talent come through the doors, of course, college football really being semi-pro for the NFL. All the guys who have become the greats in the National Football League, they all had to come from college football. And you've had a lot of guys have exceptional careers at the collegiate level that sometimes just never panned out in the pros. Or you've had guys who were decent college football players end up panning out in the pros and be way better there. But this time, our best college football team, BNB edition. And I'll start this time on offensive side. And I'm gonna actually work my way. Last week you did quarterback down to your offensive line. I'm actually gonna start with the offensive line and move my way to quarterback. I think it'll be more fun that way, personally.
Okay.
Um, I said offensive line. We're actually gonna start kicker. We're gonna start special
Yeah.
teams. We're gonna start special teams, okay? The greatest
Jaden Fielding.
the greatest kicker. It is not Jaden Fielding. I can guarantee you that. All right. I know people out there want to say Jaden Fielding.
Yep.
Respectfully, I mean,
Very
it could.
good.
Jaden Fielding and Noah Ruggles were very
I
close to
mean, he
making this
told me
list.
he was automatic from inside the 60, so you got to believe him.
Inside the 60. If this was CFL, maybe, but they only have 55. They don't even have 60 yards over there. They have the 55-yard line as
He's actually
midfield.
talking. I was about to say he was talking 60 inches, but even then he can't even make a kick within that. So
Yeah, it's a sore subject for the folks of Columbus, Ohio, for sure. Um,
yeah,
But let's see what Connor Hawkins has to bring this year. That's the real question. Can Connor Hawkins have a pulse? And I think that's
the bar is on the ground. So
yes, it is. It is for sure. Um, my kicker, I am rolling with Florida State Seminole legend Sebastian Janikowski.
fair.
I mean, you just Sebastian Janikowski. You could argue at the pro levels the goat with others. I mean, of course, we chose Vinatieri and there's others still there, but at the collegiate level, he was still one of the most consistent kickers we've ever seen at the college football level.
Yeah. Yeah, the dude was automatic. I think didn't he like not miss his senior year
Pretty
at Florida
certain, if
State?
I can remember correctly. If he didn't miss, I think it was. I think
Because
he didn't miss his senior year.
he was the first and only kicker, I'm pretty sure, to be drafted in the first round.
Yes, he was.
It was like what, pick in the 20s?
Picked like 23rd, 24th. Al
Yeah.
Davis is just he was the
We will
craziest
never
owner.
see that again. We'll never see that
We
again.
say that, and his son Mark Davis is currently the owner out there, and who knows? Maybe they throw everybody off this spring and say, you know what, we're gonna go with Jaden Fielding, #1 overall.
That's fair. It's a great choice.
I think it is a pretty good choice. I mean, you saw what he did against Indiana,
Yeah.
the presumptuous #1 pick in Fernando Mendoza. He made a amazing 25-yard field goal off the right hash mark. It went right down the middle, tied the ball game up,
Yep.
and took him to overtime. So I don't see why you couldn't go with Jaden Fielding.
Everything's great. Everything's great.
But Sebastian Janikowski has to be the greatest college kicker of all time. We're going to move now into the offensive line. I'm going to start at right tackle on the outside. This is one where I think a lot of people might disagree, and I think it's fair. But I wanted to pay a nod to a guy who I am personally very high on, who I think will be a very good pro, is just coming out this year, actually. And I think he was one of the best offensive linemen at the collegiate level that I've seen in recent memory, and that's Francis Maui Noah at Miami. I'm putting him at right tackle on this team. And I know it may be a little too like reaching for it. There's been a
What?
lot of great offensive linemen,
Dog,
but I'm going Francis
no.
Maui Noah
What
at
are we
right tackle.
doing? What are we doing? What?
Yes. Yes. I know. I think it's correct. I don't think there's an argument
You
against
think
it.
you think he's already one of the greatest college football offensive linemen of all time?
I do. I absolutely
That's
do.
crazy. That's crazy.
I absolutely do. 100%. Francis Maui Noah is one of the greatest offensive linemen we've ever seen at college football. Yes. I
That's
said that.
insane. That is an insane take.
Is it? Is it the craziest take I've ever had?
That's up there. Yes.
Okay. I don't think it is, honestly. I don't think it is. I really think that when we look back on Francis Maui Noah at the collegiate level, specifically the last two
I mean,
years,
like
like, yes,
Orlando Pace.
we're going to get there.
You
We're going to
could
get
you
there.
could throw him, Aaron Taylor from the Nebraska.
Yes,
The O lineman, Joe Thomas, Jake Long,
I know.
Panay Sewell. Uh, What do you mean, Frank? All right, no, whatever. That's as a co-GM of this team, my defense is gonna obliterate you if you're throwing out some dude from my. No, no. Keep going. That's okay. Keep going.
At right guard, I went with a guy who was really utilized in the early Nick Saban days at Alabama, a big reason why they were successful at the time. I'm going with Chance Warmack at right guard. He was really a cornerstone of the early Alabama days with Nick Saban and was a big reason why they got their first couple national titles. I think he's one of the best interior offensive linemen we had seen at that point. Coming out, of course, it didn't really work out in the pros, but what he was in college was one of the best offensive linemen we had seen, specifically in the 2000s and early 2010s.
That's fair. Yeah, he was what the 2013 draft.
I think it was earlier than that. I actually think he was like 2010, 2011 timeframe. Because
Because
he won the
Chance
first title.
Warmack was he went to the Titans,
Yes, he
Frank.
went to the Titans. He was the Titans' first round pick, and he was only there for like 3 years, 2 or 3 years. And I think he bounced around the league for a couple seasons after that, and he was kind of out the league, not soon or pretty soon after. But I do think that when you look back at him at college, he was easily one of the greatest offensive linemen we've seen in modern college football, at least in the last 20, 25 years. Absolutely. I don't think that's a question.
Yeah, he was really good.
At center, I'm also going a little bit young. I'm going a little bit young here, and I'm going over to Iowa, and I'm going to a guy who won a lot of trophies at Iowa, being the best center, and he's a current free agent in the NFL and highly touted. I'm putting Tyler Linderbaum there at center.
That's okay. That's okay.
Homie's like, this defense is just going to feast.
It
That's what he's
is.
thinking.
It's the fact that Maui Goa out of everybody. No, it's over.
It's
It's
wraps.
it's it's it's
Mm-mm. I don't think it
already
is.
over,
It's not
and it was
over.
one player into the thing.
It is not over, bro. I promise you. We'll be talking about Maui Noah for a long time, all right? I'm just saying it for everybody out there. He's going to be that guy. And he still was that guy at Miami, all right?
The one thing I will say, Dave Remington from Nebraska, what was it, like the early '80s?
Yes.
He was I think he was a two-time winner of the Outland Trophy.
Yes.
Um, that would be the one that I would throw out there. You could throw I guess you could throw Jason Kelsey out there. He was
But the
really
thing
good
is
at
that
Cincinnati.
Jason Kelsey
Chuck
wasn't.
Bednarik from
Chuck
Penn. I mean,
Bednarik would be maybe the one real argument. But the thing is, with Jason
but I
Kelsey
do
was
think
Jason
Tyler
Kelsey
Linderbaum is very valid.
what
That
what
is a valid choice.
was Jason Kelsey actually all that good at Cincinnati? Like, realistically speaking, he was good. Don't get me wrong, but he was a 6th-round pick. It's not like he was looked at as a cornerstone piece, a 1st-round pick like Tyler Linderbaum was. He was coveted.
I mean, it didn't help he
You know
went
what
to
I mean?
Cincinnati, to be fair. I mean, all the
Sauce
other
Gardner
guys
went
went
4th
to
overall on
Big
the
Ten
defensive side of the
schools
ball. You
or
know what I
like
mean?
big schools, but yeah.
We just saw
But
Sauce
no, I
Gardner
have
go
no
4th.
problem with
So,
Linderbaum. That's
yeah.
the yeah.
Left guard. We're starting to get a little bit more old school here. Talking late 90s into, I think, Y2K. One of the better offensive linemen of the day. Hall of Famer, Pro Football Hall of Famer now, known for his time with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're talking LSU's Alan Faneca.
No problem at all with it. No problem at all with it. He
Has to
was
be
a stud
an absolute unit of
for a long time.
absolute tank.
And I think he was like on the NFL team of the decade.
Yes.
In the early 2000s. Yeah. He's on the Steelers all-time team too.
Yeah, he is. He's one of the best offensive linemen he's LSU. He's probably LSU's best offensive lineman they've ever had. One.
Yeah.
Two, when it comes to the Steelers, of course, the Steelers in their trenches historically. Come on now, but he still might be. You could argue he might be their best offensive lineman ever. Still at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He's highly regarded out there. So you got to give the tip of the cap to Alan Faneca. And of course, at left tackle, you really thought he was not going to be on here. He is
Okay, good.
arguably the greatest offensive lineman of all time. One would argue in Orlando Pace from Ohio
Yep.
State. And that's not even us being Buckeye fans biased. I think it's pretty
Nope.
well considered him being the best left tackle to ever play the game.
Yep. It's not close.
I had to get the trenches out the way simply because I feel like that's where the controversy really lied.
Yep. Francis Mauigoa is getting eaten alive.
I don't think he is. I really don't.
Yes,
I think
he
he can
is.
handle his own. Now, I get the questions. Okay, we'll dive a little bit more when we get into our later discussion about bold takes in the draft and everything coming up. I understand the questions about short arm length. Is he really more of a guard than a tackle? I understand that. This dude didn't let anyone through at Miami. Okay, enough said. Enough said about him.
Yeah, he's playing
I'm very high.
the big bad ACC.
He is, dude. He is beating the hell out of Wake Forest. He is
Yeah.
beating the hell out of Virginia.
Syracuse.
He is beating
Virginia
What about?
Tech.
Hey, I'm just saying. Off air, we were just talking about the 2001 Miami Hurricanes. They had to play in the Big East. Everyone thought that they were having an easy schedule back in the day.
But they had established themselves as a power. They were known, and
You're not wrong there, but it's
and
the
they
similar
won national
argument.
championships. And that year they did.
Hey,
And
Miami almost did win a national championship this year. They had to go to Kyle Field. They had to go to Arlington Neutral Field to go play the Buckeyes, who, how the heck did that defense not win a national championship? Now we're looking at it post-combine. It's kind of insane.
Sad, man.
They had to go out there and beat these elite teams still, and they almost did beat Indiana. You could argue without a blocked punt by Indiana, Miami may have won that football game, and they still had a chance at the end of it, and Carson Beck did Carson Beck things, but
Yeah,
that's neither
pretty
here
much.
nor there. We're going to pivot to our skill positions. Tight end. I'm going to start with tight end here. Statistically speaking, and award-winning wise, we have never seen a better tight end in college football than Georgia's Brock Bowers.
That's fair. I don't have any issues with it because he was their main focal point for
2
years.
For at least 2 seasons.
Even as a freshman. He was a stud. Everywhere he went, he's a stud, and he's a stud in the NFL. He's on a bad team, but no, I have no issue with him being on there.
This is honestly the spot I was looking forward to the most, is the wide receiver position, okay? Because there's one name on here. Sorry, I hit my mic. That everybody just, You just know. The second you hear the music start on that highlight tape, on that reel, you just know who we're talking about. Slot receiver is it has to be, man. It has to be West Virginia's Tavon Austin.
Yep.
It can't be anybody else at slot receiver. One of the greatest highlight, actually, I'll pause there. The greatest highlight tape of all time. It's not even a
Yeah,
question.
he was something different in 2011 and 2012.
He made Geno Smith, man.
Yeah.
He made Geno Smith. The West Virginia was electric.
Mhm.
People forget that West Virginia with Tavon Austin. I'm trying to remember, yeah, past Geno Smith, other players on that roster. I can't really off the top of my head. But they were up there. They were like third in the country, fourth in the country. They won the Orange Bowl against Clemson. They put 70 points on Clemson. Early Dabo Sweeney days. Um, he was electrifying. There's other athletes, that aren't going to make a list or make this list that I would consider as well to be here at different positions. Of course, there's guys like Michael James, who I really loved out of Oregon, and DeAnthony Thomas at running back. They're not making this list, but their highlight tapes are some of the most fun. Bryce Love at Stanford. Some of these other receivers, like even West Virginia's David Sills the fifth, was a pretty decent guy.
Yeah.
Like so they all have different elite tapes. So, but it has to be Tavon Austin. He has to make the list.
No
Wide
issue.
wide receiver two. I don't think this is controversial. And honestly, one of my first ever memories of college football in the early days for me came in the greatest ending, maybe, to a college football game we'd seen. You're talking number one Texas, number seven Texas Tech,
Crabtree.
Michael Crabtree,
Yeah. He kind of put Texas Tech on the map.
Coach Mike Leach, rest in peace, air raid
Yeah.
offense,
Yeah.
Graham Harrell at quarterback.
Michael Crabtree had some electric games for Texas Tech and really got them moving. And it sucks that they never won they never won the Big 12 or never really did a whole bunch with those teams with Crabtree, other than they won games, but they didn't win anything of significance. But he was a hell of a college football player.
A sorry receiver like him can't do much in the pros, though. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. I'm just kidding. But
Good
Richard
old
Sherman,
Sherman.
them those battles between Crabtree and Sherman were nuts.
Yep.
They were
They
absolutely
were
nuts.
really good. Yeah. It's
But
two elite players going at each other.
shout out Michael Crabtree. Rest in peace, Coach Mike Leach. Shout out
Yep.
Graham Harrell, an underrated college football quarterback people just kind of forgot about. They were real fun. They did put Texas Tech on the map, and now they kind of put themselves back on the map with Joey McGuire, Baron Morton, now of course Brendan Sorsby, and
Yep.
that defensive front last year. That's going to continue for years to come, I think. Wide receiver one, it has to be only one guy. Only one guy can be wide receiver one. I lied. There's maybe two or three you could argue, but there's really one. It has to be Marshall's Randy Moss.
That would have been mine.
Marshall's
Yeah.
rank. I mean, him at Marshall, it was not fair. Like he should have not been in the MAC. Okay, he should have not been a MAC wide receiver.
They
He
were
should have been
making
everywhere else but the MAC. But the MAC appreciates Randy Moss for his contributions to the Mid American Conference. Marshall and Toledo, us being Toledo grads,
yeah.
was the biggest game in the conference back then. And of course, we've seen they are renewing the rivalry for I think 4 straight years, if I'm not mistaken, or it might be a home and home. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
Yeah,
I
it's
know it's
4
like,
years.
yeah,
Yep.
it's 4 years. You're right. I think it's what 22 to 25, or not 22 to 25, 32 to 35,
30.
or
Yes, it's something. It's a
something around
couple
there.
years. It's years away, but I'm glad that they're getting back to that because I would love to take a trip down to Huntington, West Virginia,
The
see
pride
a
of
game.
Rand, West Virginia. It's actually insane thinking about it now. How a small country town in the mountains of West Virginia at the exact same time produced Randy Moss, in one of the best passers the NBA has ever seen, and
Jerry
Jason.
West.
No,
Yeah.
not Jerry West. Jason Williams, but Jerry West too.
Jerry West is the logo of the NBA.
Jerry West. Jerry West is the logo of the NBA. They did produce him too. But I'm Randy Moss and
Shout out West Virginia. One
Randy
of
Moss,
arguably my second favorite state.
Moss and Jason Williams were classmates in high school, which is like wild to think about. That you had both those guys at the
Rand
same time.
University. Shout out the 30 for 30.
Running back. Yeah,
Careful.
there is controversy, of course.
There is two answers for me. And and if it's anyone other than these two answers, I will get physically violent. Also.
Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson. We already know the two answers.
Ooh,
Me
yeah.
personally, if I really had to, I'd go Boom Heron. I'd go either Boom Heron, Tevin Coleman, or even like who's another guy I'm thinking off the top of my head?
You got to
Isaiah
go for the
Pacheco.
best college players, not the one-hit wonders.
The greatest college football running back we have ever seen touch the football field. I know statistically would say Barry Sanders, but there was none more electrifying than Southern California's Reggie Bush.
Not where I thought you were going to go, and not one of my two answers.
It has to be
All
Reggie
right.
Bush.
Wow. Okay. I mean, won the Heisman, but I would have picked Adrian Peterson.
I understand Adrian Peterson. Reggie
Or
Bush
Barry Sanders.
If we're talking
over Reggie Bush.
Barry Sanders is the only guy I think would have an argument over Reggie Bush.
Adrian Peterson has an argument.
Adrian Peterson was very, very good he is still one of the best college running backs we've seen. Reggie Bush was just different, dude. He was just
AP.
He was different at college. This you got to think about. Obviously,
so was AP.
Reggie Bush, literally. I get the off the field issues. I get the, getting paid at the. Who cares now? I mean, everything that happened then would be a moot point. He got his Heisman reinstated and everything. He was different, bro. He was box office at the college level. He was legit box office. USC has been reeling ever since he's been gone. That USC Texas National Championship game, still the most viewed college football game that ever has been. And I mean, I know they lost to Texas, but the year before they won. Matt Leinart was a good quarterback, obviously. Carson Palmer back then as well was a good quarterback. They had good pieces offensively. They had great weapons defensively. I know you're probably going to talk about at least one of them on your defensive side of the ball, more than likely if I had to assume. But Reggie Bush, dude, watch him. There was no one better. There was no one better at the running back position, talent-wise. Barry Sanders, only fair argument, I think, over Reggie Bush. That's just my opinion.
Well, one, Reggie Bush had one good year at USC, and he won the Heisman, and he deserved it. He had 1,700 rushing yards.
Yes.
Adrian Peterson had 3 1,000-plus rushing seasons, and his freshman year he had 1,900 rushing yards. He finished second in the Heisman to Matt Leinart.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt Leinart won the Heisman, that's fine. But 1,900 rushing yards as a freshman. Reggie Bush had 1,700 as a sophomore. And Adrian Peterson, while he didn't have this outstanding, outlandish, seasons next, he still had over 1,000 for the next 2 seasons. And he averaged over 5 yards per carry every single season.
Consistency. Absolute consistency. But no one was more exciting than Reggie Bush. No one was more exciting. Honestly, a guy who could be up there that no one talks about, I don't think as much, would be Arkansas's Darren McFadden. I think he's a fair argument. He was pretty much similar as Adrian Peterson. Some people argued at the time.
You can talk about really any of the Wisconsin running backs that they had. Jonathan Taylor is one that you can talk about.
Heck, Ron Dane, go all the way.
Monty Ball, you can talk about him.
Thing is, running back wise, of course, I would make the argument Reggie Bush and Barry Sanders are towards the top there. Obviously, Adrian Peterson was very good.
Detroit
Darren
Lions
McFadden,
legend,
very
Adrian
good.
Peterson.
Other good running backs. I don't think there was anyone who made a like crazy impact. Like you watched, I know it was a season. It was
It's funny.
one season maybe two, whatever. It was
All
just
three were
different.
Lions at one point, which
It
is the
was
funniest part.
like see full circle.
AP Reggie
You should
Bush
be happy.
and Barry Sanders were
You
all
should be
Lions at
happy. I'm
one point.
choosing a lion. Okay.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people also forget this. This dude was actually pretty good at New Orleans before he had a bunch of injury issues and everything. He was a decent back in New Orleans. He was 1,000-yard rusher. He was doing pretty good. Won a Super Bowl. Let's not forget Reggie Bush wasn't. I mean, of course, he didn't pan out being what everyone thought he would have been, which is a gold jacket running back. But he was still a very consistent running back in his early days. It's
Yeah.
not like it was a massive bust by New Orleans. And at least this time for him, they didn't trade their whole draft away for a running back. Makes even better sense. Could say Ricky
Yeah.
Williams when he was at Texas. He's a
Yeah.
fair one. He won a Heisman Trophy. Actually, to be fair, back then every running back won a Heisman Trophy. That was just the name of the game back then. But
Pretty much. Derrick Henry's another one. Derrick Henry had an absolutely insane year
I think you
at
can make the
Alabama
argument
where
that
he
his
won
high
Heisman.
school, he had to be the greatest high school running back that ever lived. Rumor has
Yeah.
it he's still getting rushing yards at the high school level as
Yep.
we speak. What is it, like 11,000 rushing
Something
yards?
insane. Yeah.
That
I know it was something insane.
absolutely nuts. This one here in the quarterback room was maybe the one that was the most difficult for me because of the fact that I think there's like 3 or 4 guys for a fair argument. One guy stands out just because of just him being probably the best overall quarterback at the collegiate level, period. 2 national titles, consistency, Heisman Trophy winner. Wasn't really going to be a good pro. Then you have another
Mm.
guy who actually sat behind him. People thought could have started over him. Decided to have issues off the field. Had to go JUCO and have one absolutely electrifying season. One of the best seasons we've ever seen at quarterback. It's hard to pick. I chose Cam Newton at Auburn.
That's fair.
I thought about Tim Tebow.
No love for Colt Brennan.
I thought about Colt Brennan. I thought about Case Keenum at Houston. I thought
If
about, I even,
yeah,
I will say this, I did think about Baker Mayfield. There was a slight thought, but it kind of creeped out the mind a little bit
well, a
quicker.
lot of guys you could think. I mean, Joe Burrow, easy.
Joe
Had
Burrow
one
in
of the best
2019, yeah.
single had one of the best single seasons you'll ever see from a quarterback ever. Stetson Bennett, while he wasn't flashy, all he did was win.
He went
And
back to
he
back. We haven't
won.
seen
Yeah,
that in a long time
yeah.
before, and we obviously still haven't seen it after. But had to go Cam Newton. I just felt that he was different. I mean, Tim Tebow is probably the greatest college quarterback that's ever played. But Cam
He's up
Newton,
there. Yeah.
as an overall talent, when he was there, they were just he was so much better than everybody else. And it was so clear who was the
Yeah.
best guy on the football field every single week for that season.
Yeah.
It was not a debate. Cam Newton, BNB quarterback.
You go with a lot of different guys for quarterback. That's the best part about it. I mean, I would
Could
even
go Dan
throw
Marino at Pittsburgh.
Lamar had an absolutely insane run at Louisville. And he was just the most electric player in college football. People would line up to see him play at Louisville.
Right. I thought about Nathan
Um,
Shieldhouse at Illinois. I thought about no, I'm kidding. I thought about who's another random quarterback. I'm blanking. Screw Indiana. I was trying to think of a random Indiana quarterback.
Should have put Chuck Ely in there.
Chuck Ely. Chuck Ely, actually, realistically speaking, yes, he should have been considered a little bit more. Since for people who don't know, because I feel like there's probably people out there who don't know, the only quarterback to go undefeated over his entire career as a football
Yeah.
player at the
Yeah,
University
exactly. He
of
never
Toledo.
lost.
Never lost. So really, Chuck Ely, you're an honorable mention quarterback. Okay, you are an honorable mention for the All B&B team.
If I had to choose, just because of it being one of the greatest single seasons we'll ever see by a quarterback, Joe Burrow would probably be my choice.
That's fair. I wouldn't
Um,
argue against it.
but I have no problem with Cam Newton. Cam Newton was electric at Auburn, and the quarterback position you can go in so many different ways.
I have a feeling Spencer's not happy about my offense.
No, overall, I'm fine with it. I mean, right tackle is stupid. Having a guy who hasn't even been drafted into the NFL um,
This is
get
college
thrown
players,
into
though.
the all-time college football team,
Hmm.
but it's all right. Hey, I'm in charge of the defense, so we're gonna destroy. We are going to eat the offense alive in practice, and it's not even gonna be close. It's gonna
Wrong.
be just straight BTA every single practice. So I'll just get started on mine. Um,
Bryson Shaw at safety. Is that what I heard?
you didn't have any? You didn't have like a fullback or anything, did you?
No fullback. I had no fullback. I heard you have Bryson Shaw at
I don't
safety.
even know if I can name a fullback.
Name a
college
college
a college
fullback.
football
I
fullback.
mean, Jim Brown when he was at Syracuse.
If we want to throw Jim Brown in there again, I guess, yeah. All right. Left defensive end. Going a little old school with this one.
Chase Young. No, I'm just kidding. I
We're
said
going
old school.
Hugh Green. Hugh Green
Okay.
from Pitt,
I like that.
1977 to 80. Pitt, this dude, I don't know if a lot of people know much about him. I did when I did my research on him. This dude was unbelievable. He was a three-time consensus All-American. He had 460 career tackles and 53 sacks in 3 years.
It's
This
impressive.
dude was annihilating the quarterback. And while being it's the late 70s and it's a good amount of, we're not playing with plumbers per se, but we're not playing with athletes. If you were just massive and bigger than these dudes, you were just mauling them.
Yep.
But
Yeah, the average
wasn't
size
close.
back then was way different than it is now. Like you're talking your offensive lineman and your defensive lineman being on average probably 30 to 40 pounds lighter back then than they are now at like the baseline. So, yes,
Yeah.
if you were just bigger than everybody else, it was almost it was over. It was over for
Yeah.
the small guy.
At the D tackle position, I feel like I got to put this guy in there. Ndamukong Suh, from Nebraska,
Yes,
from
absolutely.
2005 to 2009. This dude was as dominant as they come. That 2009 season where he won damn near every single award. He won the Lombardi, the Outland, the Nagurski, and the Bednarik, and was a Heisman finalist. This dude was just unbelievable
Yes.
at D tackle in Nebraska, and he was a Detroit Lion.
You know you're good as a defensive tackle when you're a Heisman finalist. Like
Yep,
he was so dominant at Nebraska. Still when they were the Big 12. I'm pretty certain that was early Bo Pelini, if I'm not mistaken.
yep, yep.
They had
The late
chances. They had chances to still actually play for titles, possibly. I don't know if you
Nebraska in
remember the Big
Nebraska
12.
in the late 2000s. Yeah,
I don't know if people remember the whole issue that happened with that one Big 12 championship game. I'm pretty certain they had to. I think it was Texas, Nebraska. If Nebraska won that, I thought they were
they
going to
probably would.
be
I think they would have been playing the national championship game.
playing against Alabama.
Yeah,
So people kind of forget, even though, yeah, Nebraska hasn't been necessarily what they used to be, it still wasn't really in the grand scheme of things all that far away from where we are now. And of
yeah,
course, Ndamukong Suh was a big reason why. Yeah, I would have had Sue. Sue would have been my D tackle too, for
yeah.
sure.
Um, at the next D tackle position, we're just gonna just maul up the middle, and nobody's gonna run the ball on this football team. Um, from LSU, from 2004 to
Mm,
2007,
yep.
Glenn Dorsey.
Yes.
He's the first player to win the Outland, the Lombardi, and the Nagurski Award in the same season in 2007. And LSU, that was they won the Natty that year, right? Because that
Yes.
was against OSU.
Yeah, it would have been with Jamarcus.
Yeah. So yeah, that LSU team was unbelievable. They won the national title, and Glenn Dorsey was about as dominant as you can get from a D tackle. He was just unbelievable. And
Did
going back and
not
seeing highlights of this dude, nobody was running on this guy.
did not end up panning out that much in the NFL compared to what he
No,
was at LSU.
no,
He was
no.
kind of just an average D tackle in the NFL, but at LSU, I mean, there was a lot of good D tackles in the mid 2000s, man.
Yep.
Now that I'm really thinking about it, coming out,
Yeah.
he was probably one of the best. He had to be one of the best. Um, at least Maui Noah's a tackle in my offensive line. That's all I got to say.
What?
At least Maui Noah's a offensive tackle, not a guard. Because if he was a guard, that offensive line is getting exposed. But but he's
Well,
tackle.
that's okay because at the right defensive end, we'll throw Terrell Suggs in there,
Nah, he's
from
fine.
Arizona State.
He's
Uh,
fine. He's
he set
fine.
the and he set the NCAA single season record for 24 sacks in 2002. Um,
So why are we talking about Miles Garrett? He ain't got nothing on Terrell Suggs.
really? Okay. Well, no. Let's see. I knew Miles Garrett was going to be on there, and I'm not going to completely derail it because Miles Garrett has a single sack season record in the NFL. And I don't think it's out of the question. He's already a Hall of Fame player, and he's going to wear a gold jacket. It's going to be unanimous. Is he going to win anything in his career? No, but he's going to have all these accolades for himself. So I didn't hate it. I mean, I, like I said, I just knew he was going to be on there. Um, and for my defensive end in Terrell Suggs, he got 24 sacks.
He's the real
Um,
sack leader then. That's the thing. He's the real sack
Unbelievable
leader.
player, and he's panned out in the NFL. I mean, probably Arizona State's best player of all time. So, well,
Nikhil Harry has an argument. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
yeah,
kidding. I'm kidding. Brandon
yeah.
Ayuk? No, I'm just kidding.
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. Hey, I mean, we all
Half of
remember
Jaden Daniels, I
we
guess.
all remember how that exit happened. They were
Yeah,
excited for him to leave just to win a Heisman Trophy. You hate to
yeah,
see it. You hate to see it. But Tempe is a hidden gem for college football. I think a lot of people forget the talent that Arizona State's had for like decades on that football roster.
yeah.
So I yeah, can't really argue Terrell Suggs. There is no argument actually.
That D line is eating. All right. At left outside linebacker, he's got an award named after him. Feel like I really got to throw him in there. This is
Yeah,
old. This is very old.
I already know. Yeah.
But I feel like I have to. Wouldn't do him justice if I didn't have him on my team. Dick Butkus,
Hmm.
linebacker from Illinois from 1962 to 1964. He was an unanimous All American in 63 and 64. He had 373 career tackles. And this is insane. If this happened today, I, just thinking about he forced 10 fumbles in 1963.
Forcing 10 fumbles in a
Forcing 10
season
fumbles in a season is
when they
wild.
played probably like 8 games, 8, 9, 10 games probably back then.
Yeah.
10 max for sure.
Yeah.
That's kind of insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that insane because all they did was run the ball, but it is very impressive to still do that when you're playing practically half a season of what we do now. Probably less than half a season now when you include the playoff for whoever makes the national championship. So it
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
At the middle linebacking position, um, some of my first memories of watching college football or watching this guy, um, unbelievable talent, and he just wrecked teams left and right, and you were not running the ball in this guy. Um,
Cameron Hayward? No, just kidding.
Monte Teo, from Notre Dame from '09 to 2012. Heisman finalist, consensus All American, every accolade you could want, he got. And he was just the linchpin of that Notre Dame defense for years. And they made the national championship in 2012. They did get obliterated by
It's just
Alabama,
crazy looking back on that.
but
If you, I don't know if you've heard Manti Te'o talk about that. He knew that game. Well, to be fair, when you learn a little bit more about everything else around Manti Te'o.
Yeah.
That was a day he learned that certain things weren't leading up to being real and everything like that. So, um, if you know, you know. If you don't, I'm pretty certain you actually are living under a rock in college football world at that
Yes.
point. Um, so if you don't know, just do your research on it. But he said he just knew immediately, like when walking out the tunnel, that they were cooked. Like no, Alabama that year, dude.
They
Literally,
were
you
not
could
losing that
probably
game.
put half that Alabama team on that list, on this list, if we really wanted to, just because. Like I don't even want to start because that team was just loaded,
Yeah.
absolutely loaded. But Manti Te'o, I think he gets a bad rap with a lot of people just because of everything else that happened, and of course, in the pro level, it didn't pan out because I
No.
mean, everyone kind of judged him about what happened with everything, kind of blamed him for some of the situation. He was, and I would argue he should have won the Heisman Trophy that year.
Yeah.
He was the best player in college football for at least 2 years, but
Yeah.
specifically that season he won the Heisman Trophy, or
Yeah.
didn't win the Heisman Trophy, but should have won the Heisman Trophy.
Came up
See, in
close.
my head, he won a Heisman
Runner up
Trophy.
because that was the year.
Manti Te'o,
Who won it over him?
it was. Hold on, I'm blanking. Who was it?
Was it Cam Newton?
It
Was that the
wasn't. It
year?
wasn't Cam Newton. I think it was the year after Cam Newton. We're gonna do this research here, but while it's time for you guys to subscribe again if you have not at this point in the video, all right? You should hit the push notification bell to stay up to date on all of our new videos. Should follow us on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. New episodes out every Friday at 6 p.m. wherever you guys can get your podcasts here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. Spencer is still searching. I do think if it's 2012 time frame, right? Is it the 11-12 season or if it's at the 12-13 season?
Manziel. Johnny
Johnny
Manziel.
Manziel. Okay. That's why we forgot. That's
Yep.
exactly why we forgot.
Johnny Football.
Yeah. That's why we forgot. No shade at Johnny Manziel, but there is a little bit of, you know,
Either way, Monte
self-awareness.
Teo, one of the great lineback. He had a lot of stuff happen off the field, and he had a lot of issues. But as a player, unbelievable talent, and was one of the best linebackers I've seen. So, and at the right outside linebacking position, he played defensive end, but he also was a half linebacker, half the edge.
Arvell Reese. Yay! No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe in projections. Julius Peppers, North Carolina from 1999
Yeah.
to 2001.
Yeah.
This dude was a game wrecker.
Peppers would have made my list too. 100%.
In every this dude this dude at UNC was unbelievable.
He was disgusting at UNC. I mean, it was unfair that it was so unfair. He had no business being at like UNC. He should have been like at a Alabama or a Texas. And I'm pretty certain he's from North Carolina, so I think he stayed at home in state. Um, I mean, what was North Carolina before Julius Peppers? Please tell me. I couldn't tell you a football player that
What were
played
they
at North
after?
Carolina. That's also a very good
What
point.
were they after? They haven't been anything.
That's not true. They've been pretty decent. Okay, they've been decent. I mean, you have Mitchell Trubisky. You had
Whoa,
Drake
a
May.
backup QB, cool.
I'm
Drake
just
May, we're getting there.
what I'm saying is North Carolina has been decent. They haven't been They haven't been like towards the top
Omari and
since Julius
Hampton.
Peppers. Amari and Hampton was a pretty good running back. Okay, he still has a lot of potential in the NFL. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think it's true.
Julius Peppers at the right outside linebacker position. At corner, this dude might be the best player on the team. He's from where we are. He's from Toledo, at least in the area.
Oh, Quinyon Mitchell. No, I'm just kidding. I
Yeah.
know exactly who it is.
Yeah,
You don't even need
Hey,
to tell me.
Quinyon will be there.
He's arguably the
Someday.
best. I would make the argument. I'm going to throw this out there. I, he could have possibly gotten snubbed off the NFL list, even. He's that good, even at the pros. I already know who it is.
The
You go ahead and say it.
all-time?
Yeah, genuinely. If you actually look at his NFL stats.
All-time team.
Yes.
Stop.
I'm so
No,
serious.
stop. Just stop. I love Quinyon Mitchell so much. No.
Oh, I wasn't talking
He's
Quinyon
been in the
Mitchell. No, no, no,
league
no, no, no,
for
no.
2
Spencer.
years.
Spencer, I'm talking about the guy who you are saying right now.
Oh,
Because
oh,
I know who it
oh,
is. I already know
okay.
who it is.
I
You
thought you were
haven't
talking
said his
about
name.
Quinyon. I was
No. I'm
like,
not talking
wait a
about Quinyon
minute.
Mitchell. I am talking about the guy you haven't mentioned his name. Say his name.
From the University of Michigan, 1995 to 1997, and from the Fremont Ross Little Giants, Charles Woodson.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Charles Woodson, unbelievable stud, Heisman Trophy winner, just about everything you want from a cornerback, and he translated to the NFL. He arguably is the most famous player to come from Northwest Ohio.
Him,
I
Ben
mean,
Roethlisberger,
we've had our fair share of guys. Yeah, Ben Roethlisberger, um, Jim Harbaugh,
Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer, John Harbaugh. But yeah, it's Charles Woodson's got to be on this team. He at Michigan, a consensus All American. I think every single year he was there. He won the Heisman his last year. Won Michigan a half national championship. Just one of the best players ever in college football.
Period. I would think Michigan fans would say he's the best Michigan player of all time. When you take in just college and everything, he has to be probably just the best overall player that's ever played at Michigan during that time.
And he's the only, he's the only primarily defensive player to win the Heisman Trophy winner, or to be the Heisman Trophy winner. Travis Hunter was a receiver and a corner, but Charles Woodson only played corner, and he was damn good at it. So
that's just how you know you're different. When you are a defensive player, and we already talked about it with Sue being a Heisman finalist, but the fact that Woodson just went out there and just won it.
Yep.
They did line him up here and there on the offensive side. He did kind of dabble here and there in some small increments, but nothing like Travis Hunter. Nothing like Travis Hunter, where he's pretty much a starter on both sides of the ball.
How did we let him get away, Ohio State? Now, I wasn't even alive, but
I wasn't even alive, and I would still be saying stuff to them.
How did we let this man get out of the state of Ohio?
I don't understand what they didn't see. It's just
all right. And at cornerback 2, from the Georgia Bulldogs in 1996 to 1998, Champ Bailey.
Okay. Yep.
Champ
Bailey makes both lists. How about that?
He won the Nagurski in 1998. He played over 1,000 snaps on offense, defense, and special teams. He was versatile, and he was a lockdown corner for the Bulldogs, and he translated to the NFL. So
absolutely. I'm going to throw this out here. I think a guy who possibly got snubbed at linebacker, and I'm not saying it's a real snub, but I think there's serious consideration. I don't think people give enough credit to a guy who has been on television. David Pollock, when he was at Georgia, when he was there, and he was playing linebacker for the Georgia Bulldogs, was genuinely one of the best defensive players, period, of the 2000s.
He was good.
David Pollock easily could make this list, I think. If you're just looking at it from pure college play, David Pollock deserves a nod. I'm going to give him his credit where credit is due. That dude was absolutely nasty for Georgia on them defenses, too.
Starting at my safety position, this guy had to be on here.
Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, I know, bro. He has to be. I mean, come on. How can he not?
Ed Reed from Miami.
Oh, okay.
1998
That's
to
fair.
2001.
That too. That adds up.
Finished with 21 interceptions and 5 forced touchdowns in his career. He was as locked down as they come at the safety position. Don't really have to say much about him. If you know who Ed Reed is and you know how he played, you know he has to be on the list.
That's 2 defensive backs now on the same list. Just goes to show they were just that good, huh? At both spots.
Yep. And we're about to make it 3 because at the other safety position, from USC from 1999 to 2002, and future Pittsburgh Steeler Troy Polamalu. Um,
Not much
kind
else
of
to be
what
said.
kind of what all we said. The same thing with Pittsburgh. This dude was just a game wrecker, and he backed up everything that he played. He was a heat-seeking missile of a safety, and he hit harder than anybody I've ever seen before. Him and Ed Reed together,
Him, Ed
whoo,
Reed,
boy,
I will
and they
say
came up. They came up together. Ed Reed 2001 draft and Palomalu the
Palomalu was
2002
2002.
draft.
Yeah.
So I mean, these two guys were just heat-seeking missiles, and I pray to whatever running back has to go against these guys.
Reggie Bush can do it though. I'm telling
Reggie
you.
Bush.
Reggie Bush is gonna beat them with his speed anyway, so it don't even matter, bro.
I'm so sure.
Reggie Bush
And
would be just fine.
and to finish off at punter, a guy who does not have a good rep off the field. He's
And
kind of a scumbag,
oh,
but he is the
where are we
NCAA
going with
record
this?
holder
Oh, now I know.
in punting yards with 51.20 yards per punt. He has the NCAA record. I think it was
Is it?
19 punts over 60, I think.
Let me guess. It
Um
is Matt Ariza.
Good job. Yay, you win nothing.
Oh,
From San Diego State in 2021. Uh
mm-mm.
punt god, and he had a lot of issues off the field. He didn't know if he was ever going to make the NFL, but Ray Guy was from the 70s, so we got to get someone newer. But
So what's the
Matarazzi
problem with Francis Maui Noah at right tackle then, huh? If you're gonna have a young punter, I can have a young right tackle.
from 2021, and I can back up his stats, and he's got NCAA records for punting. Yeah, I'm gonna take him over a guy who hasn't played a snap in the NFL. And while Francis Mauigoa is pretty good, he's had one really good year at Miami.
He's gonna be just
for
fine.
for an all-time team. Yeah, no.
He's gonna be just
This
fine.
defense is eating the offense alive. They
You
won't
you
move
you
the
think
ball
that?
5 yards down the field.
You think that?
Reggie Bush
We'll
is
be
going to
fine.
get put in concussion protocol by the time Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu are done with
Nah,
him.
nah, it's not happening, dog. This
And then if
offense
he
is
wants to try,
obliterating.
he's got Dick Butkus
He wants to
and
try what?
Julius
Can you what'd you say?
Peppers and Monte Teo. And then right up the middle, if you want to try to run the ball or even try to go drop back and pass with Cam Newton, Ndamukong Suh and Glenn Dorsey are going to be shit wreckers. So yeah, have fun with
Nah,
that.
nah. This
And
offense will
if you think you're
thrive.
throwing the ball, Charles Woodson ain't giving you a single centimeter. So
I've got Randy Moss. It's okay. Randy Moss
I
will
got
catch
Charles
anything that
Woodson.
touches his hands.
Maybe in the MAC.
Nope. It didn't.
Not in the Big Ten.
It didn't matter, bro, where Randy Moss played football. We all knew what he was. He just happened to be an idiot and smoke some weed back then. Nowadays,
Hey,
that ain't even a problem.
for if we're talking about the all-time NFL teams, Josh Gordon on weed would be wide receiver 3. He would be on the list.
He would be a legit argument for sure. I think. Honestly, in my completely biased opinion, I'd make the argument maybe wide receiver 2, but that's just pure bias reasons. Um, yeah, actually, maybe that's next week. We'll just make an all BNB team if allowed to smoke weed in the NFL.
Yeah,
That would be its own list in and of itself.
allowed to do drugs. Marshawn Lynch.
Allowed to do drugs / steroids. I think Brian Cushing would be my starting edge rusher. Okay, I think people forget how good Brian Cushing was, and it was just because he was absolutely roided up.
Yep.
What's the other dude from the Jaguars in like the early 2000s? Daryl
Um,
Henderson, isn't that the dude's name? I think it's Daryl
sounds about
Henderson,
right. Yeah.
the defensive tackle who is an absolute unit. You all know what I'm talking about. He's getting smacked by a position coach in the face in the locker room, saying you got to draw blood from my mouth to get hyped up. Just goes to show them boys were built different, but they were getting bald by the age of 27. So that's their
Yeah.
problems there. And back acne, that's a huge issue. But I digress. The offense clearly wins in a landslide. We're not going to act like they don't. And we're
Francis
going to pivot.
Maui Goa, please.
It's Maui Noah.
Maui Noah, Maui Goa, don't matter. Terrell Suggs.
NFL scouting combine has come and gone. And it is now that time. We are working into NFL free agency, real off-season conversations, but we don't believe in that word because it's never the off-season. NFL draft. It's all here now. Scouting combine in Indianapolis was very fun. The fastest combine ever. These guys were out there running and running fast. They were doing their drills better than we've ever seen. The greatest we've ever seen, as some would
Sound like
say.
Trump.
But
The greatest.
how much does it really matter? It doesn't matter much at all.
No, not really.
But what it did do is it showcased the actual talent in this 2026 draft class, because a lot of people have been just completely overlooking 2026, saying, oh, there really isn't any guys because of the quarterback position. And the fact that, oh, everyone's going to be there in 2027. Like, who cares about the 2026 draft? You got to look in front of your face. Some of the best athletes, period, are in this draft class.
Yeah. Especially in the defense.
This defense is filled with talent. I mean,
Yep.
filled. Little did you know the tight ends are also some of the most athletic guys on the football field. Little did you know a tight end could jump 45.5-inch verticals and broad jump over 11 feet. A tight end. You have Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon running a 4.3, 4.39, running into 4.3s as a tight end.
That's insane.
You have Eli Stowers, the kid from Vanderbilt. Like I said, he's the one with the 45.5-inch vertical, had the broad jump over 11 feet. Kind of insane. You just don't see that kind of stuff. We haven't seen it ever in a combine. This is one of the best combines we've ever seen. And obviously, I think the biggest winner of the weekend, some might argue it would be Monroe Freeling out of Georgia, and it would be more so about his measurables and everything else there. Obviously, he still showed what he can do in the drills. I'm not too focused on a lot of that stuff. Really, you want to focus in on the measurables more than anything else with a lot of the guys. Measurables are what kind of matter more, and obviously medical stuff. That's really what it is. It's more so like that first window into people. But Sonny Styles has to be the winner, right? It has to be Sonny Styles.
Yeah.
You're talking
Buddy went all out in this combine.
You're talking a guy at 6'5", about 245 pounds. Broad jumps 11'2", vertical jump, the highest ever for a linebacker at 43.5 inches, runs a 4.46 40 at linebacker. Linebacker. Yes, you and I know more than anybody, being a Buckeye fan. Transition from safety to linebacker, coming out of high school, was a basketball athlete, a pretty good basketball player too. So we kind of knew his athleticism. And I had been telling you this for a while. I said Sonny Styles is going to go pretty high in the draft. He's going to go pretty early. And I'm going to start here with my one take. Sonny Styles is a top 5 lock. I don't see a world where he is not picked in the top 5. There is not a world where he is not picked up that high.
Yeah, I think it's gotten to a point to where I think teams are going to pick him over Arvell Reese, linebacking wise or linebacker wise. Just because Arvell has all this upside and all this athleticism, but he kind of had a really good first couple games with Ohio State, and kind of fizzled out towards the second half and was more of a non-factor in the big games. But Sonny Styles deserves all the credit in the world. He's had a hell of a combine. He's really proven a lot of people wrong, and I do think that he's going to be a top pick in this draft.
As
I
an
could see
off-ball linebacker.
I could see him going possibly as high as number 3. Maybe no, I don't think maybe number 2. Maybe. I don't think the Jets would take a linebacker
Well, the
too.
thing is, I don't think the Cardinals would be a team that would take. I think a team might trade for that pick. The Cardinals to me, I don't feel like really need linebacker, but I
They
look
need
at
everything.
they do need. I mean, linebacker not as much. I would see. I actually think the Jets would be a little bit more likely at 2 than the Cardinals to take linebacker. The issue with Arvell Reese and why I still think he could go earlier than Styles is more of that projection to edge. And that's where he's giving the Tyree Wilson vibe. You and I,
Yeah,
both as Buckeye fans, are telling people to kind of slow down on Arvell Reese a little bit.
yeah,
You and I both think that there's others out there you could get at edge. Ruben Bain, David Bailey. Both of those guys I think could and maybe should be picked over Arvell Reese. Not that Arvell Reese can't be better. Sometimes you just gotta kind of pause on the projection stuff and see what you have in front of you sometimes. You know?
yeah,
Like I get you want to be the guy to be like, oh yeah, I told you so. This is that guy right here. Sometimes you just need to pause and look at what you have in front of you. And I know Ruben Bain Jr., his measurables and everything. You want longer arms as an edge rusher. That to me, for how good he is as an edge rusher, should not matter. I think he's the best one in the class based off skill. That dude
yeah.
was the most dominant football player every single game he played this year.
Yeah, no, I agree. Um, I think the arm size doesn't matter a ton to me because Aiden Hutchinson has small arms and he's one of the best defensive ends in football. So it really doesn't matter as long as you have production. I really could care less what your measurables are, unless you're like a linebacker and you got like these freaky measurables and just going all out like Sonny Styles is right now with what this amazing combine that he had. It doesn't matter to me. Just go attack the quarterback.
Yes.
I don't care if you have the shortest arms in the world or if you got long arms. Like we talked about the same thing with Tyree Wilson, where he had like these measurables and a power edge rusher, and then he just sucked in the league. He's sucked in the league.
Yeah.
Um, it's gotten to a point to where like the Raiders might just be done with him. But we do also have to say, like, all this projection does mean something to the GMs and to the owners.
It
They
does.
see this, and that's their big decision making that goes towards it. They like production, but projection is really high for them as well.
I think projection might be
And that's
higher for some guys. It
also
just depends on the
the
philosophy.
yeah, but it's also the downfall for some players. Projection, I mean, Anthony Richardson was projected to be this insanely talented two-way player who can just run and pass the ball, and you didn't see it at Florida, but it was supposed to be different in the NFL. And I mean, years into this is what, year 4?
Yeah. Should be
Uh,
year 4. Year
he
4.
he
Yep.
hasn't he hasn't proved anything except that he's a bust. So, um, it's yeah, and that he quits on his teams and his players because of that whole thing with his offensive line situation years ago. Um, to me, production matters. If I was the general manager of a team, production is number one on my list. If you produced in college, I want you on my team because this shows you can attack or you can defend or whatever position you are, you can compete at the collegiate level and thrive in the environment that you do. And I need players like that on my team because projection, it could go way south more than it could go way more upside, depending on the player. And I'm just a guy that I'm a guy that likes production more than projection. I think it's very important that you produced.
Yeah, you have to. I agree with you. Production to me matters way more than projection because, yes, it has to be considered. But like you said, I saw you do this.
Yep.
It's not that I think, oh, you possibly can. I physically saw it with my own 2 eyes. I know what you bring to the table. Just because this guy has the measurables, has the traits, and he goes out there and what does he do? Oh, he doesn't he's not refined. He doesn't have any real I'm specifically thinking of like edge rushers because I think this is talked about a lot more at the edge rusher position than others.
Yeah.
Oh, he only has one move in his repertoire. Oh, he doesn't have any bend and no like, a bunch of like the fine tune mechanics. Who cares? Reuben Bain Jr. had 83 pressures this season at Miami, most in a season since Pro Football Focus started counting that as a stat, started doing stats. I think that's enough said about Reuben Bain Jr.
Yeah.
Now, I know he only had 5 sacks this season. He had Akeem Mesidor next to him. I know it's a fair argument. And I'm also really high on Akeem Mesidor. I think he could go pretty high in this draft. He could be a top 15 pick. He could slip to the early 20s. I think that's probably the farthest he goes down the board. But don't knock this kid because he has other elite talent around him. What are you doing with all the Ohio State defensive guys? You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
just my opinion about Reuben Bain a little bit. What's a bold take you have for the draft coming up? It is our way too early bold predictions here because
Um,
we have months to 50 days, give or take, once this episode airs to discuss more.
my bold take is Caleb Downs falls outside the lottery. I think this injury issue is something to watch out for. And I think teams are going to be hesitant to take him because of what's going on with his knee. Um, if he falls to 17, great. Like, sweet, dude. But I think it's seriously a concern, the injury issues that are going on, that it wasn't talked about until the end of the combine. And now you're seeing it surface that he's got meniscus issues. It was like a
So
partially torn meniscus or
so
whatever.
I can confirm the partially torn meniscus part. The
Yeah.
part that's hard to really believe is the degenerative knee. From
Yep.
what I've heard, a lot of other NFL people are kind of saying this is BS when it comes to that. When it comes to the whole degenerative knee issue. Torn meniscus, yes. I there is some truth to it. I also just think it's because two reasons. One, he's a safety, and safeties are very rarely picked in the top 10
Yep.
because of position value. Like, we got to think about that when it comes to the draft. Position value really matters to specifically these decision makers. We talk about production, projection, positional value might matter more than even that sometimes. And
Yeah.
with Caleb Downs, he's a safety. He's a true safety. So him being a top 10 pick, and you got to think about the money a guy makes in the top 10 and the high end market for a safety. You're almost paying this guy what you might pay him in a contract extension.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, can we really justify taking Caleb Downs in the top 10? I think you can, because I think he's the second best player at least in this draft.
Yep.
And that's the thing about this draft that makes it more unique, is the fact that you could argue the 4 or 5 best players in this draft
Our
are,
defense.
well, not just defense, guys at positions that aren't typically high value positions in the draft. You're talking Sonny Styles. Yeah, Arvell Reese is maybe projected as an edge, but he's a linebacker. Caleb Downs at safety. And you look at the offensive side of the ball. Some people, from what I've heard, consider Vanga Yawani, the Penn State guard, as maybe the best offensive lineman in the class. However, he's a
Great. So
guard.
now our all-time team doesn't even have the best offensive lineman from the draft.
Maui Noah is the best offensive lineman in the draft, in my opinion. I'm saying what others say. And then you look as well in Jeremiah Love at running back.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. This draft is very unique in that sense that the best players are not high positional value players. They're not. My next prediction I have, I'm predicting these two specific edge rushers to be first round picks. Missouri edge rusher Zion Young and Central Florida's edge rusher Malachi Lawrence. Zion Young, to me, is a top 5 edge rusher in this class. He's better than some of these guys that you've heard: Cassius Howell out of A&M, Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. This kid has some serious juice to him. I like him a lot. I think he's going to go much earlier than some people think. Malachi Lawrence out of UCF, one of the biggest winners of the combine, but not just
Yep.
before then. He was a big winner at the Senior Bowl, too. Same with Zion Young. They were both winners at the Senior Bowl. You watch Malachi Lawrence and his tape, I see a true dominant edge rusher compared to a guy like Cassius Howell, who might have been the biggest loser out of A&M. because you talk about measurables in that whole real debate there. Pretty certain he measured in with like under 31-inch arms, which for an edge rusher, you want to be at least above 32, which is
Yeah.
why with Ruben Bain, he's just around 32, which is the whole issue. It's like, oh, he's not that long compared to everybody else. Cassius Howell was the biggest loser when it came to his measurables. The talent's there. And then you see Keldrick Falk. Keldrick Falk is the quintessential Dennis Allen edge rusher if I've ever seen him. Great at stopping the run, can't rush the passer worth a damn. And I'm not saying he can't at the NFL, and it eventually works out, but it never usually does for
What
any
do
of
you think
these
he's gonna
guys.
go to the Bears?
He screams a Chicago Bear edge rusher, does he not? The way he can't rush the passer?
Be funny.
It would be
Be
pretty
funny.
funny with all the Max Crosby talk, and then, oh, by the way, we're recording this the same day the Bears center, Drew Dahlman, announced
Retire.
his retirement. And all the smoke out there in the rumor mill is, oh, it's Max Crosby. We're going to get Max Crosby. We're going to trade for Max Crosby. Nope, actually, you're going to need to fix your offensive line again a year later.
Ha ha. The Bears.
Um, that's my second bold take. I think those two guys are first round picks. I am fully sold on those two guys being first rounders, 100%.
Fair. Yeah. I like Zion Young. Um, I like him a lot for Missouri. He shows me a lot of upside. I like his power, his measurements, his intangibles. I could see him easily going in like the late first round. Um,
I think his ceiling would be 19 at Carolina.
yeah. Well, the Lions need an edge rusher, and the Vikings might need one too if Jonathan Grenard gets traded. But
They could go that. They also just need help in the secondary too. To be fair, because of their whole cap situation, that defense could be completely different next year than what
yeah,
everyone thought. Like they're going to have to remove a lot. They're 50 mil plus in the negative. They've got to do a lot this offseason to try and spend. It's another bold take you have, Mr. Spencer. I know it's late. I know it's late. We're starting to yawn around here.
I know there's a lot of smoke about multiple quarterbacks being taken in the first round, and I don't know if this is bold or not. I think it's just Mendoza. I know that people are trying to sell you on like these trade ups in the draft and the late 20s and the early 30s. It's just Mendoza. This quarterback class is just not good, and it's Mendoza and everybody else. And if Trinidad Chambliss would have been eligible for this draft, I could see it. But there's not another guy I would trade up for in the first round. It's not close. So
You and I agree, but there's so much smoke right now about, oh, Ty Simpson could go as early as 6th to Cleveland. Like Todd McShay, I love you. I'm a big fan of Todd McShay's. That's
Diego
you're not
Pavia. There you go.
you're not selling me anything about Cleveland taking quarterback 6th overall.
Ty
That's just not
Simpson is
happening.
just not it.
Ty Simpson is better than given credit to some folks.
Ty
However, he is
Simpson
also
and
not
Mac
as
Jones.
good as some people want to paint him as.
Ty Simpson and Mac Jones are the same player.
I think
So
Ty Simpson should have played another year of college football, in my opinion, regardless if it was at
I don't think
Alabama
he
or not.
could. He was a senior,
He had another year of
wasn't he?
eligibility.
Oh,
He had
I thought
another
he was
year
a
of
senior.
eligibility. He may have been a senior, but you know how eligibility
And you
rules.
could
They
just
come on,
find
dude.
in loopholes. I mean, look
So
at
does it
Trinidad
really
Chambliss.
matter?
He's going to be like 24, and he's going to be playing college football next year.
So
So
I think he would have benefited another year of actually playing college football. And there is a track record of guys who don't have 20 or more starts going into the pros, and they never really pan out. That
yeah,
statistically has never happened. So I think he should be a second round pick. I think he should be picked to a franchise that knows what they're doing at the quarterback position, allow him to develop, and then maybe we can see with Ty Simpson. You and I both agree with that. I personally can't see a world. Actually, I should rephrase that because we've seen crazier things happen. We've seen Tim Tebow be a first round pick.
yeah.
I think there is a world where Ty Simpson goes in the first round. I don't think it should happen. I agree. I don't think it will happen. But you never know. You can never ever believe
The Jets will like trade
anything.
into
Like
like 31 or something like.
you can just never fully count on anything in the draft because there's always unpredictability.
Yep.
My last bold take, it's almost a two-parter because there's a lot of hate on this running back class. Fairly so, I will say. It's not deep. There is talent, though. There's some serious talent. Mike Washington Jr. out of Arkansas is one that I really like a lot. I like Jonah Coleman a lot out of Washington. I get the argument for Jadarian Price being over both those guys and being running back 2 behind Jeremiah Love. I have him at running back 4 in the draft. My bold take, my biggest one. I think Jeremiah Love's going in the top 3. I think he doesn't get past Arizona at number 3. It sounds like James Conner is more than likely out of the picture in Arizona. Yeah, there's going to be pretty decent free agent market for running backs this year. But I just think you can't pass up on arguably the best player in the draft, regardless of position, for a team like Arizona. Just get the best player. You just need everything. Go get the guy. I think Jeremiah, that's his that's his ceiling. His floor is probably number 8 to New Orleans. I don't see New Orleans passing up on Jeremiah Love if he's available at number 8.
Yeah, the farthest he would go at would be 9. There's no he doesn't get and I get the Saints if the Saints decide to go somewhere else, which I don't think they would. I think if Jeremiah Love was available, they would just go get him. But there's no way he gets past the Chiefs. Like there's
Physically impossible.
absolutely no
If he's
there's
somehow
no
there. Yeah.
way in hell he gets past Kansas City. 'Cause that's like the one thing. Well, they need multiple things, but that's one of the biggest glaring holes Kansas City has. Um, I don't hate it, and it's a bold take. I mean, it is bold. I just I don't agree with taking a running back that high. I think when you're Arizona, you have so many needs that, and especially in such a deep defensive class where your defense sucked last year and you need upgrades on that defense, whether it's edge, linebacker, safety. I mean, Buda Baker is getting older.
Yeah.
Um, by every year, and I think he might be in his 30s now, or if not, he's close to his 30s. You have so many issues on defense that I wouldn't take a running back there. But Jeremiah Love is seen as one of these, I don't know about generational running backs, but I think of one of these like top running backs in the draft, obviously. But in years past, there's always been that one running back where it's not a can't miss prospect. And I think he is one of those. I don't know if he's generational like a Saquon
I
Barkley.
was going to ask the
Um,
question since we're on the topic. Do we think he's the best running back since Saquon Barkley in the draft?
um,
You've had Bijan. You just had Ashton Genty. Can't really think of a guy
no.
in between.
No, I did. Genty had a better college career. Bijan had a better college career. Um, no, I mean Jeremiah Love was very good. He was very good at Notre Dame, but I mean he could be seen as a generational running back to some. To me, no. I just I don't know. It's close. Jeremiah Love is going to be one of those players where he's either a boom or bust. He's either going to be one of the top running backs in the league or he's going to fizzle out. I, I don't trust Notre Dame players if I'm being honest with you, especially on offense for some reason.
I mean, that's kind of
um,
understandable. They haven't always panned out that well in the
yeah.
NFL.
Um,
Um,
but maybe it's time for a change. Um, I think Arizona has way too many needs, especially on defense, to where they wouldn't be taking a running back. But at the same time, it's a bold take, so
the thing about
I can't hate it.
Arizona, I think they could also go tackle because they need another tackle to pair with
Yes,
Paris Johnson
you like a
Jr.
Spencer
But the thing
Fano? Yeah.
is, because another question about Fano, right, is his measurables weren't all that great either. And at the combine, they were testing him at all 5 positions in different scenarios. Will Fano slip? I think it's a possibility Fano slips down the board a little bit. And I think Maui Noah might be seen as a right tackle, which is why you're seeing the Monroe Freeling conversation really elevate, is because he appears to be the truest left tackle, if you will, in the class. I don't think he is the best tackle, let alone the best left tackle, but I get why the conversation's had, and I understand why people would feel the way they do about him and whatnot. So that's the argument. Is this tackle class and offensive line class maybe not as good as we think it is? And you see these guys who are the best players in the draft, regardless of position, just go earlier just because. I think that's fair. I think it's a fair conversation. The second part of my bold take, though, I think another running back is picked in the first round. I think Mike Washington Jr. or Jadarian Price will be picked in the back end of the first round. Say if Seattle does lose Kenneth Walker at the last pick at 32, Denver could always use another running back at pick 30. There's a couple other teams up there who I think could make that move. And we've seen it in a couple drafts now, almost in a row, where we're like, oh, yeah, there is a second running back. Oh, he is good. Oh, he is going in the first round. Little did we know Jahmyr Gibbs was going 12th overall. No one had Jahmyr Gibbs mocked in the first round. Nobody. No
No
one
one
really
did
had him.
Jack Campbell for projected in the first round. Now they're both all pros.
Exactly. You just don't. People don't mock it
This is
until
all
like the final
projection. The
month.
thing about the draft is you can say what you want about all these players. You like their intangibles, you like their measurements, and then they'll go out in the league and then they will suck and they will suck hard. And then
I
you
said
will have guys who have terrible combines and go out there or
and be some of the best players you've ever seen.
skip the combine in general because who really cares?
I
And
agree.
then go out there and just light the league on fire. The best part about the draft is nobody knows anything. Nobody knows anything about these
Absolutely.
players. And that's the fun part about it. It's the projection, it's the intensity, it's the wondering of if this player is going to be that guy to take the next step and to take a franchise to the next level.
Absolutely. It
And
is. The one
it's
thing
what makes it fun.
the
So,
thing about the combine that I think is a positive is it helps some of these other smaller guys who without the
yes,
combine
yeah. And the Senior Bowl. Senior Bowl helps out a ton.
it's not really beneficial for like obviously those guys who kind of already know, you know what I mean? Like there's no real point for them to do it. Just wait for your pro day. Wait for all the scouts to be at your college and watch you do something there a little bit. But for the like the Mike Washington Jr. from Arkansas, a kid who probably was projected as like a fourth round pick coming into the off season at the end of the year, ran a 4.33 and dominated the Senior Bowl. Was easily the best running back there. And is now projected to probably be an early second round pick.
Yep.
That's a guy who benefits more when he runs that 4.33 and he just can't take enough of himself because he's put in all the hard work and he's balling on the sideline because he knows he just absolutely nailed it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what the story's really about when it comes to the scouting combine. Spencer, your last bold take, if you have one.
One of either Max Crosby or AJ Brown will be traded on draft night.
Oh, I like it. I like it. I
Don't
like
know
that a
which
lot.
one. I don't know which one. And if I had to choose one, I think it'd be AJ Brown. I think if Max Crosby gets traded, it's before the draft.
Not again with AJ Brown on draft night. It's
Um,
like the ceremonial blunt, if you will. Not
yeah.
shout out
And
the Josh Gordons of the world.
The Eagles will take a receiver in the second round or something like that to replace him. But one of those two guys will get traded. I don't think Max Crosby would. I think he'd be more of like a before the draft type thing for a team to kind of
I think so too. Yeah.
but who knows at this point. So I think Max Crosby. I think Max Crosby is getting traded 100%. I don't think he's going back to Vegas. I
Is
think
he
that
a Detroit Lion? We already know in your heart he is, right?
he is in my heart a Lion, and him and Aiden Hutchinson will be shit wreckers. In my, but in my unbiased opinion,
Well, I got to tell the folks at home. You should follow Ball N Beatz Media on TikTok to see where Max Crosby maybe ends up in the future. We'll have to
he's going to
see,
be a
right?
bear. He's going to be a
We
damn
will have to see. That is going to wrap up this
he's gonna go
episode
suck.
here of the Scoop and Score football show. A late
Broncos
night
suck.
recording.
Sucks. Drew
Spencer is
Dalman will
ready
tell you
to
that.
pass out on me as we speak.
I'm ready to go to bed.
I'm not even ready to go to bed. I'm actually wide awake, which is kind of upsetting. But make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure you guys hit the push notification bell to stay up to date on all of our new videos. Follow us on our social media pages at Ball N Beatz Media, wherever you use your social platforms, or whatever platforms you choose to indulge in. doom scroll our TikTok page, please. That's all I ask for. We will see you guys possibly next week. We will have to see. Just throwing that out there. We will see. We will see if we're here next week. If we're not, we'll be back the following week. But until then, take care and peace out.